Mayor Baraka of Newark, New Jersey, arrested at immigration detention center. He has been protesting. So I guess we're now, I guess ICE is now just, arresting elected representatives for the crime of protesting. That's cool. That's pretty good. What we got here? Newark Mayor Ross Baraka was arrested Friday at a federal immigration detention center where he has been protesting this week and held in custody for several hours. I guess he wasn't held for that long. Baraka was released shortly after 8 p.m. and after stepping out of a SUV. Why does it say an SUV? That's a whatever. With flashing emergency lights, told waiting supporters, "The reality is this: I didn't do anything wrong." Well, as far as I can tell, yeah, he hasn't really done anything wrong, right? What did he do? He just protested. Why was he protesting at the detention center? I assume they probably detained someone wrongfully. If I were to make a bet, more than likely someone was wrongfully detained because it's ICE, and of course someone was probably wrongfully detained. Baraka, a Democrat who is running to succeed term-limited Governor Phil Murphy, has embraced the fight with the Trump administration over illegal immigration. He has aggressively pushed back against the construction and opening of the 1,000-bed detention center, arguing that it should not be allowed to open because of the building permit issues. Really? Not because it's going to be used as a detention center? Oh, well, I understand that it's a detention center, but I'm mostly protesting it because of building permit issues. Like, okay, let's keep it $1.50. Is it a bad thing that he is protesting this? No. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing that he's, protesting the, it's a good thing that he's obviously protesting the creation of this detention center. Yeah, but he's not really protesting it for the fact that it's, a fucking wretched, horrid fucking detention center. More so it's like, well, there's building permits and you didn't follow the exact regulations. I don't know about this, sweaty. And it's just like, dog, there's way bigger fish to fry in comparison to fucking building permit issues. But that's cool, whatever. Linda Baraka, the mayor's wife, accused the federal government of targeting her husband. They didn't arrest anyone else. They didn't ask anyone else to leave. They wanted to make an example out of the mayor. Well, I can't really disagree with her there. That's definitely more than likely why they arrested him. She said, adding that she had not been allowed to see him. A crowd gathered to protest outside the building where Baraka was being held, with many chanting, "Let the mayor go." Alina Habba, who's insane, interim U.S. attorney for New Jersey, said on the social platform X that Baraka committed trespass and ignored warnings from Homeland Security personnel to leave Delaney Hall, a detention facility run by private prisoner group Geo Group. Wait, hold on. Isn't there a video about this? Where's the video of Baraka getting arrested? Video of Mayor Baraka getting arrested. Pretty sure this is on camera, right? Body cam video shows the mayor getting arrested at ICE facility. Is he actually trespassing? Can I see the video? Page cannot be found. Lovely. Because I'm trying to see the veracity of these fucking claims. Fucking go away. I just want the video, bro.
This is not right!
Calm down. I'm not resisting. I know.
Get all of your goddamn hands off of me!
This is the mayor of the largest city.
So he was protesting. Okay, well, why is this here? I don't want this here. I wanted to read the fucking caption, dude. Nothing wrong with protesting outside the immigration place.
All right, this is the last. I'm not pinned. Listen, this is the last warning.
Oh, it's Congresswoman. Let's show some respect. Show some respect.
Call her man.
You have no respect.
So he was trying to get, attempt to gain entry, but he told he can't proceed. Okay.
Congress is a difference.
Doesn't mean he's trespassing.
Mr. Mayor, anyone that is not a congresswoman or man needs to step off the gate. It's the last warning. You will be placed under arrest.
Why does it have to be Congress fucking people, the only people who can go in? That's my question, right? Why? It's because they're federal police. Oh yeah, well you're building a detention center on municipal ground. The mayor has a right to know, like, what is going on there. Because that's, well, part of his city, right? That's how it works in Canada, right? You can't, like, if the federal government needs to build something on, what, the ground of, like, a city, and they want to build, like, a facility there, they have to get approval from, like, the municipal government. That's how that works. You can't just, like, forehead build the thing there because, like, well, that's what the federal wants. It's just, or the executive wants. It's like, no, you need to get permission to do that from the city.
You let him in! He's the mayor, let him in!
Don't rush in. Don't rush in. Don't, please. We at a gate. Back up.
Moves forward. Appears to move forward. Okay. Wait, they let him in. Okay, but he's trespassing. But ICE let him in. You're telling me that Alina Haba lied? I'm shocked.
This is not right!
And then this is where the chaos happens. Wait, but ICE let them in. But he's committing but he's trespassing? I have a feeling. Okay, listen, we're going to do a little bit of a hunch. All right, just a small hunch, okay? I don't think this is ridiculous. My hunch right now is that he wanted to go proceed further to see what exactly is going on, and that's probably what pissed off ICE. That's probably what happened.
Calm down. I'm not resisting. I know.
Mayor County can be heard saying he's not resisting.
Goddamn hands off of me!
While some of his associates are more vocal. Okay.
Put your hands on
Yeah, the lady seems to be very upset about the fact that she's getting detained.
me! What the hell wrong with you? What the hell wrong with you? You better get your officer!
Lovely. Cool. So, it's going to be kind of hard to make the argument that Mayor Baraka here was trespassing when he was allowed on the grounds of the detention facility by, I assume, ICE. Because he's probably concerned about, like, I don't know, apparently he said he was concerned about, like, the building code or whatever, the permits or whatever fucking shit. If that's even the case. Who really cares if that's, like, even the case? Like, if the mayor wants to go in on municipal ground on a facility that the federal government is building, at least that's how it works in Canada, they can do that. Like, it's their city. They're the ones who are administering the city. But, you know, I guess the Trump administration seems to disagree. They'd much rather, like, build their little detention facility and then just not have anyone question about it. That's cool. Haba said Baraka had chosen to disregard the law and added that he was taken into custody. Video of the evidence showed that he was arrested to the public side of the gate to the facility. After returning to the public side of the gate. Wait, he got arrested after leaving after being let in. Well, that's a little suspicious. So he was allowed in by ICE. Okay. Because we're missing some context here. We don't have a full video. He was allowed in. Okay, cool. Great, fantastic, excellent. As his, you know, his right as a mayor. Right? Because they're fucking building it in Newark, which he is the mayor of, so he has a right to be like, all right, what the fuck is going on here? Kind of a deal, okay? That is not an unreasonable, like, sort of assertion, a sort of, like, position. Let's be quite honest here. If Mayor Baraka wants to know what the hell is going on, he can know what the hell is going on. That's totally fine. Who gives a shit about any of that stuff? The problem becomes, should be fairly obvious, is the fact that ICE decided to be like, well, actually, no. We're going to arrest him after the fact. And it's just like, wait, hold on. He just left the grounds. And you're trying to argue that he's trespassing. Well, that's a little weird. So, like, which is it then? Is he trespassing? Or is he not trespassing? Well, what's going on here? That's a little suspicious. But, okay. Witnesses describe a heated argument. Witnesses said the arrest came after Baraka attempted to join 3 members of New Jersey's congressional delegation. Representatives Robert Menendez, Lamonka McIver, I think that's how you say that, Lamonka? Sure. And Bonnie Watson Coleman, in attempting to enter the facility. Okay, so the arrest came after he joined 3 members of the congressional delegation. So he came in with, like, his delegation saying, yeah, we're gonna see what the hell is going on here. Okay, sure. Cool. When federal officials blocked his entry in attempting to enter the facility. So he went back after not trying to get in, and then basically he tried to get in, but he wasn't allowed to, like, get in. Is that like what's going on here? Right? Let me read that again. He attempted to enter the facility. So he didn't enter the facility? I'm trying to understand here exactly what happened. Because people are just going to, like, needle and dime a bunch of bullshit and be like, well, actually, that's not what happened. Technically speaking, it was this that happened, or whatever fucking bullshit people will come up with. So he went back after attempting to enter the facility. But I thought ICE let him in. Let the mayor go. They didn't arrest anyone else. Okay. So he never went in. Okay. Didn't this say it went in?
Congresswoman, and show some respect. Show some respect.
Told he can't proceed. Okay.
Hey, back up.
Eventually, the group appears to move forward and chaos soon breaks out. Appears to move forward. I guess the thing that I'm getting hung up on is, what does appears to move forward in this particular instance mean, right? The fuck does that mean? I don't think it's it doesn't really specify what appears to move forward. Like, out of the facility or into the facility? Okay, well, cool. Lovely. So, he didn't enter the facility, but the video looks like he is entering the facility, and then after leaving the facility was when he got arrested after returning to his congressional delegation. Okay, well, these two, like, the video and the articles. Let me see, what does it say enter in Sky News? Enter the... He was at the facility which opened in New Jersey City last week with 3 members of Congress, and witnesses said his arrest came after he tried to join them in entering the center. Oh, so he was there with 3 members of Congress, and he attempted... Okay, so he wanted to join them. Okay, and these are probably the 3 congressional representatives. Ah, okay, I see. So there's probably more to this. All right. The video confused me there a little bit. I get it now. So he was with the 3 members outside waiting. He tried to go in, and as a result of trying to go in, that was when the argument broke out. Gotcha. Okay. So when federal officials blocked his entry, a heated argument broke out. According to Viri Martinez, an activist with the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice, it continued even after Baraka returned to the public side of the gates. So it continued after he left the facility. The argumentation. Lovely. There was yelling and pushing, Martinez said. Then the officers swarmed Baraka. They threw one of the organizers to the ground. They put Baraka in handcuffs and put him in an unmarked car. We love it when our federal officials put, you know, mayors and stuff in handcuffs and in unmarked cars. Lovely. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said the lawmakers had not asked for a tour of this facility. The department said further that a bus carrying detainees was entering. A group of protesters, including 2 members of the House of Representatives, stormed the gate and broke into the detention facility. They, the ICE agent, this literally contradicts what even the ICE agents said. They said, that they were allowed to enter. So, whoa, Trump sycophant is lying. Who would have thought? Homeland Security did not respond to questions about why only the mayor was arrested. I wonder why. Watson Coleman spokesperson Ned Cooper said the lawmakers went to the facility early in the afternoon unannounced because their plan was to inspect it, not to take a scheduled tour. Okay, makes sense because this would be a federal asset, so they probably want to see what the hell is going on. Seems reasonable off to me. They arrived, explained to the guards and the officials at the facility that they were there to exercise their oversight authority. He said that they were allowed to enter and inspect the center sometime between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Okay, pretty normal so far. DHS, in its statement issued after Baraka's arrest, said Menendez, Watson Coleman, and a number of protesters were currently holed up in a guard shack at the facility. Members of Congress are not above the law and cannot legally break into detention facilities. Had these members requested a tour, we would have facilitated a tour, McLaughlin said. Is that one of the Congress people, basically? I suppose the sort of, contention here is basically, hey, if they requested to do the thing, we would have just done the thing, right? If I'm understanding this correctly. Contrary to a press statement put out by, Watson Coleman, who left and was a Homeland Security investigations holding, or who was at a Homeland Security's investigation holding facility where Baraka was said to have been taken, said the DHS statement inaccurately characterized the visit. Well, who would have thought that they were lying? Crazy. Contrary to a press statement put out by DHS, we did not storm the detention center. But they requested to go in. Baraka also tried to go in with the congressional delegation, and he was, denied. Yeah, to say that it's storming seems a little silly. But, these people are all liars. The author of that press release was so unfamiliar with the facts on the ground that they didn't even correctly count the number of representatives present. That's funny. We were exercising our legal oversight function as we have done at Elizabeth Detention Center without incident. Video shows the mayor standing on the public side of the gate. It wasn't exactly clear 100%, right? But if we get to the part where he was arrested, because this is body cam footage. Do we have any other footage besides body cam footage? Yeah, he's getting arrested. He doesn't seem to be inside the facility now. That's a little unclear. In video of the altercation shared with the Associated Press, a federal official in a jacket with the logo of Homeland Security Investigations can be heard telling Baraka he could not join a tour of the facility because you are not a Congress member. That is interesting. That is interesting that, Alina Habba seems to be leaving out this detail. I wonder why she was doing that. Couldn't be anything in particular. I'm probably speaking out of my ass too much. It'd be like that sometimes. Baraka then left the secure area, rejoining protesters on the public side of the gate. Video showed him speaking through the gate to a man in a suit, who said, "They're talking about coming back to arrest you." I'm not on their property. They can't come out on the street and arrest me, Baraka replied. Minutes later, several ICE agents, some wearing face coverings. Can I comment on this, like, face covering shit? Because, like, all of these motherfucking, like, ICE agents have been wearing a lot of fucking face coverings. It's very emblematic of the, like, dumb fuck, dipshit fucking fascists that they are. They seem to be wearing a lot of face coverings now because, seemingly, and this certainly is the case, they seem to be not wanting to reveal the fact that they are more than likely all committing crimes that are against the Constitution. Because, you know, yada yada, the broader sort of byproducts and consequences of, whoa, well, a bunch of these, like, racist-ass dumbasses. Who would have thought that this would be the case? But, yeah, well, you know. Nice meme, I guess. Surround him and others on the public side as protesters cry out, shame. Baraka was dragged back through the security gate in handcuffs. So a bunch of masked fucking vigilantes decided to come in, arrest Baraka, even though he was back on the public side of the gate now. They decide to arrest him anyways because, I don't know, they perceived him as probably being, like, stinky or some shit. As, like, doing some wrong thing. He did a big boo-boo oopsie. So that's cool. That's great. Fantastic. Very, very cool. But yeah, like I said before, the reason why these motherfuckers are now, like, all wearing a bunch of face coverings now is because they don't want to be broadly identified because, like, quite literally, everything that they are doing in terms of this respect is, well, simply put, it's just wrong. It's just, like, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional, but, well, you know, do conservatives care about any of that shit? No. No, they don't. The ICE personnel came out aggressively to arrest him and grab him, said Julie Moreno, a New York, Jersey state captain of the American Families United. It didn't make any sense why they chose that moment to grab him while he was outside the gates. An email and phone message left with the mayor's communications office were not immediately answered Friday afternoon. Kabir Moss, a spokesperson for Baraka's gubernatorial campaign, said, "We are actively monitoring and will provide more details as they become available." Several civil rights and immigration reform advocates, as well as government officials, condemned Baraka's arrest. True, yeah, because he tried to get in, he was not allowed in, and as a result, he went back on the other side of the fence. Even though he was actually told by the congressional delegation themselves, saying, you're not allowed in because you're not a congressperson. He complied with what they said, and then he went back out on the public side of the gate. Okay? And then he was talking with the dude in the suit, saying, like, I think they're coming to arrest you. And it's just like, oh, what the fuck? That's crazy. New Jersey Attorney General Matthew J. Platkin, whose office is defending a state law barring private immigration detention facilities, criticized the arrest during a seemingly peaceful protest and said no state or local law enforcement agencies were involved. Yeah, because it was ICE who did it, right? And they're just federal. So here's all of our favorite masked vigilantes, right? Security personnel stand in front of Delaney Hall, a recently reopened immigration detention center in Newark, New Jersey. Oh boy. We love the fact that the only way that the Trump administration is thinking about, like, well, here's how we're going to deal with all these damned migrants. We're just going to put them in jail, folks. Just throw them in the slammer, even though they probably didn't do anything wrong at all. More often than not, they don't really do anything wrong, folks. We're all just racist. History of the facility. Two-story building next to a county prison, formerly operated as a halfway house. In February, ICE awarded a 15-year contract to the Geo Group Incorporated to run the Newark Detention Center. Geo valued the contract at $1 billion in an unusually long and large agreement for ICE. The announcement was a part of Donald Trump's plan to sharply increase detention beds nationwide from a budget of about 41,000 beds this year. Baraka sued Geo soon after the deal was announced. It is a private First off, the fact that there is a fucking private corporation that's like doing all this stuff, like private prison institution, is bad in of itself. But gotta do anything possible to be like complete assholes and get fucking money from the Gestapo in order to house their victims. That's cool. Very good. Geo touted the Delaney Hall contract during its earnings call with shareholders Wednesday, with CEO David Donahue saying it's expected to generate more than $60 million a year in revenue. He said that the facility the facility began the intake process May 1st. Hall said the activation of the facility and another in Michigan would increase total capacity under contract with ICE from around 20,000 beds to 23,000 beds. DHS said in its statement that the facility has the proper permits and inspections have been cleared. Yeah, I'll believe it when I fucking see that. Sure, man. Totally. So, broadly speaking, what? He tried to go in with the congressional delegation. The congressional delegation told him he's not allowed to go in, same with the ICE agents. So as a result, after being told that he's not allowed to go in, he walks away back to the protester side on the public side of the gate. Okay, that's fine. All above board. So he was talking with a dude in a suit he himself was also on the other side of the fence. Bro was just yapping with him, and the dude on the other side of the fence said, well, hey, I think ICE is coming to arrest you. But the DHS is framing this as, oh, you're getting arrested because you trespassed. When that's not the case. That is a lie. He did not trespass. Gotcha. So, that's probably the biggest problem here, right? They're saying that he trespassed when in reality he didn't. He tried to trespass. But actually, after being told he's not allowed to go in, he left. Great. Fantastic. Excellent. I know he also did like an interview soon after getting out with like Al Sharpton talking about how he was treated well within the facility. I don't give a shit about like that fucking the interview itself, but the idea that like you should tout like how well you were treated in the fucking facility, nah, fuck out of here with this like stupid fucking lip cope bullshit. Nah, that facility in of itself shouldn't even fucking exist. The purpose of that facility is, have your Gestapo round up a bunch of fucking mostly innocent migrants in order to ship them off to like a prison slave labor. I don't give a shit about like civility in this particular respect. You should do everything possible to shit on the fact that this facility in of itself is even in existence. But we love our liberals and civility politics. Totally not a big reason for as to why fucking the Democrats are hated, broadly speaking, so much. That's cool. But I do have to say, his arrest was definitely unjustified. I have to say that. And who would have thought that Alina Habba, the psychopath, would try to lie about that? Whoa, who would have thought that she was full of shit when she said that? So I guess I get the basic gist of what's like going on here. He tried to go into the facility. He was told not to go into the facility. And after being told he's not allowed to go in because he's not a member of Congress, he leaves and is just like, okay, I can't go in. Cool, great, fantastic. He talks it off with some random dude, probably from ICE or something, whatever, or whatever official is working there. And the official tells him, dude, I think ICE is coming to arrest you. And it's just like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. As far as we could tell, he didn't even really trespass. So, from what we can broadly make an assumption on based off of what we've read, the only reason why ICE decided to do this then was to just try to make an example out of him. That's quite literally it. I think that's probably the most accurate assessment that we can sort of gather from all this nonsense. I think that, broadly speaking, I think that makes sense. I think that checks out. Whoa, who would have thought that the freaks at ICE hate it when you try to challenge their authority because they're just a bunch of deadbeat cops. Fantastic, excellent, very cool. So I guess we're getting to the point where we're having like local officials start to be arrested by the Trump administration. Great. It's fantastic that that we're starting to get to points like this. So good, so good.